ChatGPT can be your 24/7 English conversation partner. Imagine having someone by your side any hour of the day, ready to speak English with you. No need to schedule a class, no waiting for replies, and no fear of being judged. That's what ChatGPT offers. It's a partner that's always available, always patient, and always focused on helping you get better. You don't need to feel embarrassed if your grammar isn't perfect or your vocabulary is still growing. ChatGPT doesn't get tired. It doesn't interrupt. It listens to everything you type and responds in clear, simple English. It gives you space to try, to fail, to try again, and that's how real learning happens. Let's say it's 11 at night and you suddenly want to practice English. No problem. Just open ChatGPT and start a conversation. Say, "Hi, I want to practice English. Can you help me?" And it will say yes every single time. You might want to talk about your day, your plans, your favorite movie. ChatGPT will follow your lead and help you find the words you're looking for. It will even suggest better ways to say what you mean, gently and without pressure. This kind of practice builds confidence. It removes the fear of speaking. Many learners stay silent not because they don't know English, but because they're afraid to be wrong. With ChatGPT, you can make all the mistakes you want, and instead of feeling ashamed, you'll learn from them. That freedom to practice any time, as much as you want, creates momentum. It creates fluency. It gives you daily contact with English, which is one of the most important things in learning a language. So even if you live in a place where nobody speaks English, or you don't have money for lessons, or you feel too shy to talk in front of others, you're not alone. You have a partner, a silent supporter that's always there when you need it. That's the beauty of learning English with ChatGPT. It's more than just a tool. It becomes your companion on the journey. You can practice speaking and writing without fear of judgment. One of the biggest obstacles people face when learning English is fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of being laughed at, fear of sounding wrong. That fear can be so strong, it stops many people from even trying. But here's the truth. Mistakes are how we learn. Every fluent speaker once stumbled, once mispronounced words, once felt unsure. That's part of the process. With ChatGPT, you don't have to worry about what others think. It doesn't judge you, it doesn't laugh, it doesn't compare. You can type your thoughts exactly as they come. Broken, simple, messy, and ChatGPT will respond with kindness, patience, and clarity. You can say something and ask, "Is this right?" And it will gently show you a better version, not with harsh corrections, but with helpful suggestions. This creates a safe space, and that safety gives you the freedom to grow. Many people avoid speaking English because they think they have to be perfect. But perfection is not the goal. Communication is. If you can express your thoughts, even in a simple way, you're winning. And with every practice session in ChatGPT, your confidence builds, your sentences get stronger, your vocabulary expands, and most importantly, your fear shrinks. ChatGPT allows you to practice both writing and conversation. You can write a short paragraph about your day and ask for feedback. Or you can start a casual chat and say, "Let's talk like friends." No matter your level, beginner, intermediate, or advanced, ChatGPT meets you where you are and helps you move forward. In this environment of zero pressure and constant support, your voice becomes stronger. You stop hesitating, you stop hiding, and slowly your fear turns into fluency. Because when no one is watching, judging, or rushing you, you can finally focus on learning. You can learn new words in context, not just in lists. Many English learners spend hours memorizing vocabulary lists, word after word, definition after definition. But here's the problem. Most of those words disappear from your mind after a few days. Why? Because words learned in isolation don't stick. Our brains remember stories, not lists. We remember situations, not random definitions. That's where ChatGPT becomes incredibly useful. Instead of handing you a list of words to memorize, it helps you learn new vocabulary in context, through conversation, through examples, through your own interests. You can say, "Teach me 5 words about cooking." And not only will ChatGPT give you the words, it will show you how to use them in a sentence. You'll see how the word lives, how it sounds, and when to use it naturally. Let's say you want to remember the word chop. Instead of just reading chop means to cut something, ChatGPT can build a little story. Maria chopped vegetables for the soup while listening to her favorite song. Now your brain has an image, a scene, and that makes it stick. Even better, you can ask ChatGPT to quiz you later. You can say, "Test me on the words I learned yesterday," and it will. You can say, "Give me a short paragraph using these 5 new words," and you'll see how they connect. This kind of learning is active, not passive. You're not just seeing words, you're using them, playing with them, making them your own. And the best part? You choose what you want to learn. If you love sports, ChatGPT will teach you sports vocabulary. If you enjoy gardening, you'll learn the words that matter to you. This personal connection makes learning more exciting and more permanent. So don't waste time trying to memorize long lists of words that have no meaning to you. Let ChatGPT help you build a vocabulary that's alive, connected to real situations, and ready to use in real conversations. That's the kind of vocabulary that doesn't fade. It stays with you because you didn't just learn it, you lived it. You can fix your grammar without feeling embarrassed. Grammar can feel like a scary mountain, so many rules, so many exceptions, and for many learners, the fear of using incorrect grammar becomes a reason to stay silent. What if I say it wrong? What if I use the wrong tense? But what if learning grammar didn't have to be stressful? What if you had a helper who gently corrected you without making you feel small? That's what ChatGPT does. You can write a sentence, any sentence, and simply ask, "Is this correct?" ChatGPT will not only correct your grammar, but explain why in a simple way. No complicated terms, no pressure, just a calm, helpful response. For example, you might write, "He go to market yesterday." ChatGPT might say, "It's almost right." The correct sentence is, "He went to the market yesterday." We use went because it's the past tense of go. That's it. Clear, kind, and useful. Over time, this gentle correction becomes powerful. You start to recognize patterns. You begin to feel when a sentence is right or wrong. It's not about memorizing rules like a textbook. It's about seeing real examples and learning by doing. You can even ask ChatGPT to explain grammar in your own language if something feels confusing, or ask it to compare 2 sentences and explain the difference. You're in control of the pace, the style, the level. And because there's no fear of being judged, you're more likely to ask, to try, to practice, and that's how improvement happens. Most importantly, ChatGPT creates a safe space where making grammar mistakes is normal, not shameful. You're not in a classroom being tested, you're on a journey, and every mistake is just a step forward. Fluency doesn't come from filling in blanks or answering textbook questions. It comes from using English the way we use our native language, through real conversation, through asking, answering, laughing, thinking, responding. And that's what ChatGPT allows you to do, anytime, anywhere. You can start a conversation on any topic you love: sports, health, cooking, relationships, travel, even your daily routine. ChatGPT will respond just like a thoughtful partner, asking follow-up questions, making comments, encouraging you to say more. It doesn't matter if your sentences are perfect. What matters is that you speak, that you express your thoughts and feelings in English. Let's say you type, "Today I feel tired." ChatGPT might say, "Oh no, did you sleep late last night?" Suddenly, you're not practicing grammar. You're having a conversation. That's the key difference. Real fluency is not about remembering rules. It's about being able to communicate your ideas naturally, even if they're simple. And if you get stuck, you can ask for help right in the moment. "How do I say this better?" Or, "What's the word for when you feel tired but happy?" ChatGPT will guide you like a patient friend, not a strict teacher. The more real conversations you have, the more confident you become. Your words start flowing faster. Your vocabulary grows in the direction of your life. You're not learning random things, you're learning to live in English. This is how fluency builds, not in silence, but in use, not in fear, but in freedom. So open a chat, start a conversation, and let your English grow by talking, just like you would with a friend who truly listens and wants you to succeed. That's what ChatGPT can be, a conversation partner who never gets tired, never interrupts, and always supports your journey. You can practice speaking, even if you're alone. One of the biggest problems English learners face is not vocabulary, not grammar. It's practice, especially speaking practice. You can read alone, you can write alone, but speaking, that usually needs another person. But what if you don't have anyone to talk to? What if no one around you speaks English? Does that mean you stop learning? Not anymore. With ChatGPT, you can simulate real conversations, even if you're completely alone. You can say, let's pretend I'm ordering food in a restaurant, and it will play the role of the waiter. You can say, let's talk like friends, and it will have a casual chat with you. You can even say, correct me if I make a mistake, and it will gently guide you, just like a patient teacher. And here's the best part. You're not being judged. There's no fear of embarrassment. You can take your time, you can try again, you can make mistakes, lots of them, and learn without shame. You can also speak your thoughts out loud, then type what you wanted to say. Ask ChatGPT, is this correct? Or, how do I say this more naturally? And it will answer, like a supportive language coach. Or, if you're using voice-to-text features, you can speak directly and get instant responses, just like having a conversation with a friend. Fluency comes with doing, and ChatGPT gives you a way to do that every single day, even when you're sitting alone in your room. And over time, your brain and tongue begin to cooperate. You stop translating in your head. The words start to flow. So even if you have no English-speaking friends, you're not alone. You now have a partner that lets you speak, stumble, succeed, and repeat. That's how confidence grows. That's how fluency is born, one conversation at a time. Even in silence, you can now be speaking your way forward. You can expand your vocabulary without boring memorization. Many people think learning English words means sitting down with a long list, repeating it again and again. But let's be honest, that gets boring fast. And worse, we often forget those words just days later. That's because memorization without meaning doesn't last. But what if learning vocabulary could feel natural, even enjoyable? With ChatGPT, you don't just memorize words, you use them. You can say, teach me 5 new words about health. And not only will it give you the words, it'll also give easy-to-understand meanings, examples in sentences, and even help you practice. You might learn the word fatigue, and then say, can we talk using that word? And suddenly, you're learning in context, not isolation. This is powerful. When you see a word being used, when you use it yourself in conversation, your brain connects it to real experience. That's what makes it stick. You can also ask for synonyms, words that mean the same thing, so your vocabulary doesn't just grow longer, it grows deeper. Let's say you learned the word happy. You can ask, what are 5 other words like happy? And you'll learn joyful, cheerful, delighted, and more, each one with its own feeling and flavor. And because you learned them through interaction, not a boring list, they stay with you. Even better, you can tell ChatGPT your interests, like travel, cooking, or business, and it can teach you vocabulary that actually matters to you. That way, you're not wasting energy on words you'll never use. So don't just memorize. Practice, ask questions, play with words, and let ChatGPT turn your vocabulary learning into a living, growing conversation. Because when new words become part of your story, they don't just stay in your notebook, they stay in your mind. You can get instant corrections without feeling embarrassed. One of the hardest parts of learning to speak English is the fear of making mistakes in front of others. You might worry, what if I say it wrong? Or what if they laugh? That fear can silence your voice, but without mistakes, there's no progress. We learn by falling, not by standing still. That's where ChatGPT becomes a powerful tool, because here you can make as many mistakes as you want and still feel safe. You can write a sentence and ask, is this correct? ChatGPT will gently correct it, explain why, and even give you better ways to say it. You can say, I go to the store, and it might say, you meant I went to the store, but great try. There's no judgment, only learning, only encouragement. You can even go further. Say, correct my paragraph and explain my errors. Or, can you make this sound more natural, like a native speaker? Suddenly, you're not just learning English, you're polishing it. You're seeing how real people speak and write. And because the feedback is instant, you don't have to wait for a teacher or a class. Best of all, you don't have to feel embarrassed. You're not in front of a crowd. You're not being graded. You're in a private, supportive space where the only goal is growth. And every correction becomes a lesson. You remember better because the mistake came from you. It had your thoughts, your voice, your effort. So when you learn the right way, it becomes personal. It sticks. So don't be afraid of mistakes. With ChatGPT, every error is just a doorway to better English. You don't have to be perfect to start. You just have to be willing. You can stay consistent and never feel alone on your journey. One of the biggest reasons people give up on learning English isn't ability, it's loneliness. It's that feeling of trying, struggling, and not having anyone to help or even notice. You may feel like no one understands how hard it is, like you're walking a long road all by yourself. But with ChatGPT, you don't have to walk alone anymore. You now have a companion, always ready to listen, always ready to respond. You can practice at midnight or early morning for 5 minutes or 50. It won't cancel on you, won't laugh at you, and won't get tired. It's patient, it's available, and most importantly, it's consistent. If you ask, help me make a daily routine to learn English, it will build one with you. If you say, remind me to practice 10 minutes every evening, it can give ideas or even daily check-ins. You're no longer depending on motivation. You're building habits with support. And every day you show up, even a little, you're building momentum. A small lesson today, another tomorrow, and over time, the progress is real. One day you realize, I understand this, or I just said that in English without translating. And that moment, that quiet victory, is proof that you never needed to be perfect. You just needed to stay connected. With ChatGPT, your English learning becomes a relationship, not just a task. It's like having a friendly coach, a helpful friend, and a language partner in one. You're not just learning English anymore. You're building confidence, one conversation at a time. And even if the world around you is silent, this voice, your learning voice, keeps growing stronger because consistency, not talent, is what creates fluency.